Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and how y'all doing on this Friday night? This is the Club of Demand 1993, and it's going to be a busy evening on this channel. Very, very busy indeed. I gotta get 3 streams caught up tonight. As far as AEW, SmackDown, and my Extreme Rules preview and predictions. Because I'm not going to have time tomorrow to do them. Of course, life caught up to me. Somewhat my fault. But I also wanted to wait and make sure that nothing happened on SmackDown, because there is only 6 matches, which I'm fine with, just 6 matches. But, you know, I want to make sure nothing else gets added. So that's, of course, a downside, again, to having SmackDown on Fridays. You know, it's been happening for a while now. One second. Anyways, but of course, we'll get to that later on tonight, after SmackDown. I will go live immediately after SmackDown. And then, of course, during SmackDown, I will get the graphics for my Extreme Rules preview predictions done. So we'll take care of all that. But we got some stuff to talk about here, as we are live for my live review of this past week's episode of AEW Dynamite, the October 5th, 2022 edition, which took place in Washington, D.C. And this was the 3-year anniversary show for AEW Dynamite, as, of course, it did debut October, I'm going to say 2nd, 2019, I think it was. I think that was the exact date of the first episode of Dynamite. I think. I don't know anymore. But, yes. So, we're going to talk about the show. And, of course, I'm pretty sure y'all want to hear my thoughts on the stuff with Sammy Guevara and Andrade El Idolo, because that's the latest drama with AEW. I will talk about that, but I'm also going to say I'm just so sick of it. I am so sick of this drama with AEW this year. And the thing that sucks, though, is I'm still enjoying the shows for the most part. This was still a fun show. Like, I still think back to whenever NXT was, like, losing its limber. And wasn't really, it was falling off. My interest was slowly fading, and it slowly raised up again when Samoa Joe returned. Killed instantly whenever Jeff Hardy beat Karrion Kross in his main roster debut on Raw as NXT champion. Completely killed it for me. AEW, though, again, yes, there's so much drama. Yes, they're in a tough spot right now. Yes, they just had the media scrum. Now they had Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara fighting backstage. Now it's Andrade and Sammy over, because I guess Andrade said in an interview something about how Sammy Guevara apparently complained to higher ups that Andrade hit him too hard during a match they had earlier this year. I'm not sure if it may have been that triple threat match on Rampage for the TNT title with Sammy, Darby, and Andrade. Did they have a one-on-one title match? I feel like they did, but I'm also not 100% positive they did either have a one-on-one title match. But there was that drama going on. And I did also, because I was going to, try to do this stream last night after I watched my Thursday night shows. But I wanted to wait because I've been hearing multiple reports, because a lot of people, including myself at first, were a little pissed the fact that they sent Andrade home, but not Sammy. Apparently, though, now they're coming out saying Sammy was innocent. Andrade was the aggressor. I mean, yes, the Twitter war, Sammy definitely, should have been warned. Don't even start anything. But it sounds like Andrade went after Sammy, from what I heard, and Andrade got sent home. And Sammy didn't, because he didn't really do anything. From what I've heard. So that's why Sammy was still on the show. Because a lot of us, including my own fiance, was even like, why the heck? Because I was playing his turn. She's like, well, why is he even on there? And she also thinks that Sammy Guevara is a tool that needs to be punched in the face. I like Sammy, but he's very good at generating the heat. But I just personally and yeah, I'm giving my brief thoughts about the whole Sammy Andrade thing right now, and this whole thing with the drama. I have had moments where I just been just don't even feel like watching AEW. Despite the fact that the shows are good. Because I'm just so sick of this drama. I'm so sick of the whole, WWE versus AEW thing. Or, oh, we want to see people get out of their contracts. Or, oh, this person's trying to get fired. And, oh, my, it's just driving me nuts. It's literally just driving me nuts. I like both shows. I like how WWE's, getting back on track. Yes. They had, as I said before, too, to me, the build for Clash of the Castle was amazing. Extreme Rules has been decent to solid. I like the card. The build, though, has been solid, but I feel like it's not like completely blown out of the water like Clash of the Castle was. But it's still fun and stuff I enjoy. And again, too, you want all these people to go back to WWE. Well, again, if the bloated roster goes there, we're going to get the same problems. Yes, people are going to be booked better, but you're going to be whining when this person's not world champion. You're going to be whining when this person loses. It's going to be the same thing. So, AEW does need to exist. These wrestlers do need an alternative to get their name out there, and also for them to be able to shine on TV. AEW has the TV deal. All these other promotions, they have just their pay-per-views. Not many of them have weekly TV deals. ROH, of course, maybe getting one from what it sounds like. But I mean, I don't have time to watch another, another show. But again, AEW is not like a big poison I already make it seem like it is. If you love WWE and hate AEW, fine. But don't bother the people who love AEW, hate WWE. Or people like me who like them both. So, please. Enough of the AEW, enough of the drama. Tony Khan, get help with your team. You obviously, again, you're writing 2 shows. Yes, you've created some great success so far. But this drama has just gone out of control. We may not ever see CM Punk again. I mean, yes, it is, Punk, Punk opened up his mouth at the wrong time, started something up. Yes, Kenny and the Young Bucks, yes, they should have just let it go, the fact that Tony Khan chose to give CM Punk more TV time and not really Colt Cabana. And no offense, Colt Cabana, not a bad wrestler. He's not a draw like Punk. Did Colt Cabana sell out an arena off a rumor? A rumor. No. Obviously, CM Punk's the bigger draw. You gotta go with who is the freaking bigger draws. I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with CM Punk and Colt Cabana's history. It has had to do that who's the bigger draw. Who's the person that should be on top? Who's the person that's going to be bringing people money? The ones that the fans want. That's who the fans want. So yes, I still, in that situation, I still hold Omega and the Young Bucks responsible because, they're the ones that just couldn't let shit go and had to, start up crap. But I also gotta blame Punk too because he should have kept his mouth shut, did what he did. But then, of course, we have guys like Jon Moxley, who are still, there trying to remind us why they are here. There are still people in the freaking company that want to entertain us, that give a shit about us fans. So, this whole bullshit about how AEW has to fail because WWE is good again, it's like BS. It can still be there. It can still succeed. Why can't we like both shows? What is the freaking problem if we like both shows? What is the problem also with there being another successful wrestling company in the world? I don't get it. I really do not get it. So now that I got that aside and the first 10 minutes in there, again, I still enjoyed this show. I thought there were some great moments in there where it's obvious that somebody is cleared, even though rumors on the internet was saying that she wasn't at first. But then they get, well, if she wasn't at first, then why would they brought her in and teased her in like a wrestling role? She's cleared. She is wrestling again. And I'm talking about Saraya. It's Saraya. I will get it right. I promise. Saraya. And I am so happy to be able to see her getting this opportunity. But of course, we got a lot to talk about because there was a lot that happened on this 3-year anniversary. It was a banger after banger after banger. Well, okay, not quite banger, but there was still good stuff on this show. A couple weird things, though, that I was very confused about, like this whole code of honor that they did throughout the night. They did it with like almost every match. Which again, I'm like, okay, is this more of a Ring of Honor thing or is it an AEW? Like, I was confused. Especially with the MJF thing. That confused the hell out of me. Of course. So, I mean, like the other matches, maybe, with Darby Allin and Jay Lethal, fine. With Jericho, well, I almost gave this show an A-. I gotta watch it again because I'm still confused about that finish to the main event. We'll explain that in a second, though. Alright, let's roll in, though. Let's talk about this show. So it opened up with the match between MJF and Wheeler Yuta. Of course, we're not in Philly anymore. MJF, when you're not in Wheeler Yuta's hometown, MJF is still popular. MJF right now is a draw. He is money, and he is the draw. But him and Wheeler, I thought, had a very good match. And it's MJF's first match, I think, since he wrestled Wardlow at Double or Nothing. And he looked pretty good. And so did Wheeler Yuta. It's still very impressive, though, to see how Wheeler Yuta is kind of like, more so like a jobber with the best friends. You separate him and put him in with the Blackpool Combat Club, even when you teased him going away. You just like opened up a whole new can of worms with him, because he's been awesome. Very popular. Quite possibly a breakout star this year. And the most improved, too. He came out of flipping nowhere. And my friends and I were doing the our end of the year awards, which I may have to do them for myself for old time's sake, because I miss doing those. I do miss doing my top 10 specials and all of that, but again, I just don't have the time to consistently be doing them right now. I really don't. I don't know if I ever will have that time again, because I'm just, like I said, until my channel got taken down, I had all the time in the world because I wasn't consistently working. Now I am consistently working, and I'm getting married, so anyways. But they had an excellent match. MJF won with submission with a bridging Salt of the Earth. Afterwards, though, again, I was confused by this. And Wheeler Yuta spins MJF around and offers a handshake. And MJF actually looked like he was going to do it. But I thought, oh, this is probably him, putting on the babyface act, because he can be very convincing trying to act like a babyface. But going like, psych, not happening, basically. But then Freeman struggles, and he's about to actually shake Wheeler's hand until Lee Moriarty attacks Yuta. But then MJF, who you thought would join in, starts yelling at Moriarty for attacking, saying, I didn't tell you to do that! I didn't tell you to do that! And then Stokely Hathaway appears, trying to give him the Dynamite Diamond ring. But then again, he still seemed conflicted. So that I was confused by. Then we have Wheeler Yuta's mentor, William Regal, come from commentary, and he puts on his brass knuckles. And then, of course, the crowd is chanting, "You effed up" at MJF. And MJF just tucks his tail and runs away. So I don't know what that was. It was strange. We'll have to wait and see. The JAS are backstage. They cut a promo on Daniel Garcia, berating him for disrespecting him and rejecting Chris Jericho's gift of a hat, which of course Jake Hager was wearing. He says he actually likes the ridiculous looking purple hat, and he says he's going to teach some lessons, and Garcia better make the right decision or they'll make him regret it. We then had a solid match between Darby Allin and Jay Lethal when Darby Allin won with the Last Supper. But afterwards, Darby offered him again a handshake, and Lethal did shake it, but then he walked out. And of course, I don't know where that's going either. But then we have a hype video for the next match. So for the first time in, gotta say, a year, I can't remember the last, probably since he dropped the FTW World Championship, Brian Cage was on Dynamite. He appeared. He's now in Ring of Honor with Prince Nana and the Embassy. I haven't really watched much of their work. I don't know what they're about, but apparently the crowd wanted Brian Cage again, and they got him in a really great match with Wardlow. This is a very good, big, strong men looking match. I thought both men looked excellent. Wardlow looked great. The crowd was hot for Wardlow. And of course, Brian Cage, too. People enjoyed seeing him too. But the crowd especially was hot for Wardlow. People keep saying, I do agree, Wardlow's momentum's kind of worn off. He hasn't really, he's been a little bit directionless since he got the TNT title. But he looked great in this match. And he hit several power bombs until he did eventually get Brian Cage pinned with a fourth one, and he retained the TNT title. But afterwards, though, the rest of the Embassy attacked and beat him down until Samoa Joe came out and made the save. But then, of course, it was still 4-on-2. So I'm like, okay, somebody's come out. Who is it? And sure enough, it was FTR, who also haven't really had much to do lately. The hottest tag team, and quite possibly still my tag team of the year, not had much to do lately. And it was kind of like, okay, their momentum's dying off too. Apparently they did tweet something like, hey, Tony, we still work here, right? But anyways, so FTR ran them off. And I think we're having a tag match or something between them tonight on Rampage, I think. I can't remember. Backstage, then, we have an interview with Britt Baker telling us the answer is no. Saraya will not be wrestling in AEW. It has been medically cleared, so let's ship her off in some bubble wrap and send her on her way. So that makes this her house now, right? Well, Ms. Baker, you're wrong. Because we had a 6-woman tag match. Toni Storm, Athena, and Willow Nightingale taking on Jamie Hayter, Penelope Ford, and Serena Deeb. Now, of course, the person who's shining the most in this match against still is Athena. Athena's been really turning it up lately. Ever since, because again, I was not too pleased with her match with Jade Cargill at All Out. I was very disappointed. I thought that was definitely one of the matches I was actually intrigued by, and it ended up not being that good. I still thought Athena would be the one to dethrone Jade. Didn't happen. But she did good. But the shocker of the match was the fact that Willow Nightingale got the pinfall by pinning Penelope Ford. Which I'm like, holy smokes! They gave someone else the rub in the match. And I liked it. It made nobody look bad. She pinned the right person, Penelope Ford. I feel like Penelope is also someone who's underrated too. And she's definitely the weakest on the heel side. But she's underrated. She's good. But her taking a pin for Willow Nightingale, fine. So I'm like, if you're trying to get your eyes attention on somebody else, you got it. I was, surprised and intrigued. Afterwards, though, Britt Baker finds herself surrounded. And then there was Saraya, of course, at the ringside for the babyfaces. And she's not cleared to wrestle. Bam! Throws punches, super kicks, brawled with Britt. And it wasn't even a safe brawl either. And I'm like, she's back! She's back! 3 people I never thought I would see wrestle again. Bryan Danielson, Edge, and now Saraya. Saraya is getting that chance. Again, this woman was what? 25 years old when she had to retire? She was told at 25 years old she would never wrestle again. right when she was about to get in her niche, right when she was just scratching the surface. Like, yes, she had her women's title reign before. She had her best feud of her career for sure with AJ Lee. She got opportunities. She was part of the revolution. She started, even though, of course, the horsewoman kind of like, overpassed her with, her injuries and her personal drama she dealt with between 2016 and 2017. Yes, there was all that happened there, but you don't understand. This is a woman who was destined for greatness, and people loved her. People love this woman, and she is the main reason why I watch women's wrestling today, why I became a fan of women's wrestling. And finally, after 5 years or however long it's been since she had to retire, at 30 years old, she's finally going to get that chance. Finally get that chance to be the big hit she's always been meant to be. She was showing those signs right before she got injured when she first came back in 2017. She was showing those signs there. I loved Absolution. And I think they could have gone so far with it if Paige didn't get hurt. But on AEW, Saraya, she's ready. And her first match, I think it's going to be with Britt. And that's a great, big person match. Don't give her, like a Penelope Ford or, like, a Marina Shafir or, like, some other, basic jobber or whatnot in her first match. Give her a name like Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Full Gear. We have a match for Full Gear. Britt Baker, Saraya. Book it. Book it, damn it. Like I said a few weeks ago when she debuted at Grand Slam. You need another draw. You wanted another name to really... You really wanted to improve this women's division that people still sour on to this day in AEW. You got your name right there. Saraya. Again, Toni Storm is doing great as interim champion. Britt Baker, did great in her run. Thunder Rosa, it could have been a better run for her, I'll be honest. For her, of course, she wasn't getting the booking she deserved to do so. We've had some other, women, but it's really going to take off now with Saraya. It's really going to take off, and I cannot wait. I was so happy to see her get physical in there. So happy. Anyways. I know a few weeks ago when Johnny Gargano returned, Robbie Ron Kenobi told me I was having Gargano as Sarayism. I don't know what the heck you want to call it. But yeah, we had that. That happened. Then we also get earlier an interview from Roosh and Jose confronting Private Party for not holding up their end of the bargain. Of course, no Andrade, because we had talked about that at the beginning. He got sent home. And then, of course, my segment of the night. The main reason why I love this show so much, of course, it was this segment with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn talking about National Scissoring Day. Oh man, my fiance was watching this show with me, and she was literally looking up AEW shop just to try to get a Scissor Me Daddy Ass shirt. A casual viewer was digging this. I think a lot of people was digging this. Of course, the big question is on Monday, are we going to get a, "Oh, scissor me daddy, oh, scissor me daddy" chant during the DX segment? Are we? I don't know, but we could. We'll see, because Billy Gunn probably will not be there. But anyways, so the Acclaim come out, and they take a podium. And they first, of course, welcome us, and they say it's very special. And, of course, they put themselves over as the most popular, the most winningest, and the best damn homegrown team in AEW. Again, a team that was not supposed to be as popular as they were, but man, again, are they over. And it's official, the official Scissor Me Daddy Ass t-shirt is the #1 selling t-shirt in 2022. AEW doesn't stand for All Elite Wrestling, it stands for Acclaimed every Wednesday. Anthony Bowen says scissoring is a handshake and the sign of a true team. And the people want to be represented by a real team, not like Keith Lee and Sneaky Swerve, as they called Swerve Strickland. And this ain't Swerve's house. Billy Gunn takes over and says this is Daddy Ass's house. Now, for everybody in the building and the millions and millions of people at home, it's National Scissoring Day. And he was sent down to City Hall today and asked if he present the Acclaimed with this. Which he pulls out a golden foil package. I'm like, oh God, don't tell me. And it was. It was a big pair of gold scissors. Anthony Bowens runs around the ring with the scissors, be all reckless. And of course, Billy reminds him that, you shouldn't run with scissors. But then Max Caster asks us to offer a gesture of peace and understanding to our left and our right by scissoring. As National Scissor Day comes to a close, he wants to talk about greatness. 40 years ago in DC, greatness was achieved when the Washington Redskins, now Commanders at the time, won the Super Bowl. Which also, my fiance apparently didn't realize till this. Nah, I don't want to go there. That's too personal and something I shouldn't really mention. Well, okay, no, it wasn't bad. Basically, she didn't realize that the Redskins played in D.C. She thought they played in the state of Washington, but it's nothing important. Anyways, a lot of people, of course, don't remember that, but he wasn't even born yet. But it means a lot to him because his dad was on that championship team. Nice. His Super Bowl ring is his prized possession. He wears it every day, and it's proof he achieved greatness, like they have their tag titles. This city also represents the ugly side of our country, the division between us, but we all agree. Everybody loves the Acclaimed. And today there's no left and no right, no red, no blue. The Acclaimed wear pink, and everybody looks great in pink. And they're about to come together to do a group scissoring until Swerve Strickland comes out. And he goes, this is the most idiotic thing he's ever seen. And of course the crowd boos him because they're behind the Acclaimed. Even though the Acclaimed had to have Billy Gunn's help to win that match. As we all know, of course. But Billy Gunn, he congratulates Billy Gunn on getting kids suspended in his decade like he did 20 years ago. The tag titles shouldn't be on their shoulders. It should be on Billy's because it's his fault they won the titles. They get back to business, and then next week, Billy Gunn and Swerve Strickland are going to take on each other one-on-one. But he also says, don't put those fingers up in his face because you'll never use that hand again. Because we all know Rock beats scissors every day, and he literally was holding a rock. And then Smart Mark Sterling came out, and he basically was saying, he's been right saying how Swerve sucks for ages and claims the Acclaimed need to help him beat Strickland. He offers them to represent, and he wants to do a 4-way scissor, but instead he gets laid out by the Acclaimed. And then, of course, Billy Gunn does accept the match and says Shane can leave now because they have one more thing to do, and him and the Acclaimed all scissor. We have the Dark Order get a video package for their trios title match at Rampage to celebrate Brody Lee's career, which is taking place in place of the Andrade and Preston Vance hair versus career match is supposed to happen because Andrade got sent home. That happened there. There's an interview backstage with Madison Rayne and Sky Blue. Rayne says she's seen endless potential in the women's division in the months she's been here, and she sees quite the future for Sky Blue. But they're interrupted by Ty Mello and Anna Jay, taunting about needing more charisma. And of course, Blue points out that there's 2 of each side and challenges them to a tag match at Rampage on Friday. And they accept because sports entertainers always beat wrestlers. Haha, yeah, wrestling's cooler than sports entertainment. We also had a really good match between Hangman Adam Page and Roosh, who apparently I didn't realize had not signed an actual AEW contract. He has, so that, even though, of course, he got in trouble, Roosh is trying to get fired, I think Andrade is, if he can, behave himself, I think is staying with AEW, so that way he can be a tag team with Roosh, his own brother. Of course, it was a very good showing by both sides, but Hangman did win with the buckshot. Afterwards, though, Private Party jumped Hangman, but then Jon Moxley came out. He slides in the ring, of course, Private Party run off, and Moxley squares up with Hangman, because he's facing him, I think in 2 weeks on that Tuesday night episode of Dynamite. I can't remember when it is. I thought I saw it say it was the 10th, which is Monday. Then I'm hearing it's the 18th. So I'm not 100% sure when that match is. Oh, October 18th. It says it right here. But Mox says he's been waiting for 3 years, watching and studying Hangman because he knew this was coming. Between the two, they've beaten just about everybody except each other in AEW. On October 18th, in his home arena in Cincinnati, Ohio, is where he used to smoke and drink under the bridge outside. There'll be one last man standing here in AEW. 13 days, he's going to leave his house, walk down Vine Street, show up at the Heritage Bank Center, break his face, and choke him until he turns blue. Because he's in the way of him being one of the true top guys in AEW and the best in the world. Which I think he doesn't have to be Hangman to prove that, but he definitely is one of them. He's got all the respect in the world for his abilities and talents, and he admires Hangman as a person. But when the bell rings, he ain't got any goddamn respect for anything. When he goes to leave, though, Hangman says, "You've been waiting for this long, why not just do this now?" But then Moxley turns around and says, "You're a sweet kid." And like a lot of kids around here, he runs his mouth and gets himself in trouble. But he's going to let him off the hook for this one. But this is his final warning. 13 days. Watch your mouth. Then we have an interview with Willow Nightingale, which also I'm looking forward to that Moxley and Page match, by the way. But of course, it's a Tuesday night. Tuesdays, I go play trivia on Tuesdays. I probably won't be able to watch it live, but I will try and watch it, of course, the next day on Wednesday, as I should. Anyways, Willow Nightingale's interview backstage. Basically, she gets a TBS title match against Jade Cargill, based off for getting her victory tonight. Cool. All right. I don't think she's going to win, but cool with me. Like I said, I was definitely intrigued. It seemed like they tried to give a little more eyes on a different talent, with Nightingale getting that surprising pin in that 6-woman tag match. Luchasaurus then squashes Fuego del Sol. Afterwards, Jungle Boy comes out with a chair and wallops Luchasaurus, running him off. He gets on the mic and says how Luchasaurus was his best friend. After everything they've been through, he chose Christian Cage, and that broke his heart. But now he's going to break his fingers, his nose, his arm, all of them. Piece by miserable piece. You pick the time and the place, and Jungle Boy will be ready. Christian tells Perry, "Don't come back. We told you not to come back." And it'd be easy to drop him and leave him in the pool of his own piss and blood. But he said pick the time and place, and the match won't happen here in front of these losers in DC. But it will happen next week, Wednesday, in Christian's hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Which is cool. We get a few advertisements for Battle of the Belts. I won't be watching that tonight, unfortunately, but, you know. And then we have the main event. It was the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, teaming up with the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, Daniel Garcia, taking up against, I like to call themselves, Les Sex Gods, Chris Jericho, and Sammy Guevara. Which, of course, at first, again, a lot of people were pissed, especially with how the results of the match ended, with who got the pin. I'm not upset. Well, of course, now that I hear, he was innocent, which is why they let him stay, I'm not upset Sammy got the pin. But I'm a little confused, because let me double check something here. I swear to God. Yeah, I'd have to watch it again. The match itself was great. Excellent match. Good seeing Sammy in there with Daniel Garcia, and even, of course, Bryan Danielson as well. I think that would be a great one-on-one match. Bryan Danielson and Sammy Guevara would be great. But, of course, the finish. Again, if it was before I found out that Sammy was innocent, I would have been a little more pissed about this. I'm not really pissed, but I'm just confused now. Jericho hit Garcia, I think it was. Garcia with his Ring of Honor title belt. And then Sammy rolled got the pinfall for the victory. But I swore the referee saw it. Should that be a DQ? I was very confused by that. If it wasn't for that finish, I would have been giving this show an A-. But I was confused by that finish. But like Sex Gods win. And afterwards, Jericho considers Garcia, while he considers his loss. So I guess even though, of course, there was the Ring of Honor, the Honor Code of Honor at the beginning of the match with Garcia and Jericho shaking hands, like that was fine because it's like, okay, it's kind of showing that, you know, yes, there's some tension, but there's also still some respect still up between them. So it wasn't kind of like, you know, full on, like, you know, we're full on like turned on each other basically type of thing. But this is hyped up. I think next week. Next week they're going to have the trilogy of Jericho and Danielson with the Ring of Honor World title. I keep feeling that Bryan may win, but I don't know. I still feel like, you know, it'd be too soon. If they're trying to do this whole story with Jericho, you know, starting up Ring of Honor, you know, if they did their TV deal and Jericho wanted to go through, you know, different champions, it would kind of make it look bad if he did lose to one. If he did, you know, lose to the first champion he faced, a former RH champion he faced, well, besides Bandito. So I have this slight inkling to want to see Bryan win. But I think Jericho's going to retain over him next week. Possibly. It's very likely, I feel like. But yeah, that's Dynamite. Again, that is my 3-year anniversary. Dynamite review. Again, I thought it was a very great show, and I gave it a B+. It was a really good show. A lot of great wrestling, some good storytelling in there. Love seeing Saraya, of course, you know, get physical in there. Again, the Code of Honor stuff, though, still confused me a little. Like, they did it for almost every match. It was strange. And again, like that finish, again, I still think the referee saw Jericho, clear as day, hit Garcia with the title belt. But, you know, I didn't let the whole, even though I wasn't 100% sure, you know, like, you know, weighing in, like what really did happen with Sammy and Andrade, I still thought this was great. Like I said, I can't help myself but still enjoy this product. This product still intrigues me despite all the drama. Yes, I'm sick of the drama, but there's still people here who are entertaining me. And that's what I like. The Jon Moxleys, the Wardlow versus Brian Cage, the Hangman Adam Pages, of course. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and Christian Cage, and their feud's been fantastic. You know, MJF, you know, is still kicking it around. We have Saraya now. Tony Storm is doing a solid job as champion. They're trying to give it some attention on Willow Nightingale for, you know, getting that pinfall victory. There is still things in AEW for me to enjoy. It doesn't feel forced like NXT felt at times when they were starting to lose its limber. So yeah, because the Code of Honor thing was strange and the finish of the main event, I dropped my grade to a B+. I would give it an A- if it wasn't for that, but I gave the show a B+. Glad I got this out of the way, because my mother is on her way home, and we're getting ready to have a juicy steak and shrooms, Daddy! Steak and shrooms! Before SmackDown. During SmackDown, I will finish the graphics for my Extreme Rules predictions. And then, of course, I'll do my SmackDown review immediately following SmackDown. And then after that review, take a quick breather and do my Extreme Rules preview and predictions. Of course, we'll talk about when I might be able to watch the show this weekend. I'm not too sure when I'm going to be watching the show. So until then, we'll do that. But let's check a couple people in the live chat really quick. We got Tyler and JR. Tyler saying his usual things. He gave it the same grade like me. He actually liked it. Very nice. More AEW real backstage fights like this one. This is like the fourth one. I've lost track how many times. Like I said, they gotta get their shit straightened up though. JR said, "Did you hear about the news Raw and SmackDown NXT changing about the commentary?" I did. I think Wade Barrett's now on SmackDown because I think Pat McAfee's doing stuff for football right now. I think Pat will be back. Wade Barrett though was solid when I saw him in NXT. I still wonder if he's ever going to come back to wrestle. Triple H is in charge now. He could. What am I hearing about? I'm afraid I've got some bad news. What if he said it on SmackDown tonight? I actually would pop if he said it. But yeah. That does it, guys. That's my review of the AEW Dynamite's 3-year anniversary show. I thought it was a great show. I enjoyed it. There's still things for me to enjoy about AEW. And a 40-minute solid review, too. I like it, guys. So, again, like I said, SmackDown review tonight, immediately following SmackDown, and then Extreme Rules predictions after that. We good? Excellent. I'll see you guys in a little bit. So, guys, for this review, what are your thoughts on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite? The 3-year anniversary. Did you think it was a great show? What are your thoughts on Saraya getting physical and going to be wrestling Britt Baker, as I think is going to be happening? What are your thoughts, of course, also on the drama with Sammy Guevara and Andrade El Idolo? Make sure you guys leave your guys' thoughts on all the stuff down in the comments section below. And be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video. Subscribe or comment on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at Demand Airboy 93. And guys, I'll catch you all later on tonight for my SmackDown review and my Extreme Rules preview and predictions video. So until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your night. Peace out, everybody.